Okay, I'm Charlotte, one of the EvolveYou trainers, and I'm going to share some photos that have really evolved my fitness journey. I'm excited to share it with you, so let's dive straight in. This first one here is I've done swimming from the age of 5 up until I was around 18. So this photo must have been when I was around 15 years old, and I was swimming in counties, and I was doing 200 meters breaststroke, and I got county champion. But there was always one person that would always beat me. And I remember this race, I won it. So this is why this photo to me is really important. My whole swimming journey is where my passion for fitness started. So, you know, my parents used to get me up every morning and every evening, and I knew that it was something that I wanted to continue in my career, and I always wanted to do something fitness orientated. This next one brings back so many good memories. So I started my cheerleading journey when I was around, I'm going to say 18. So it was quite late because most cheerleaders normally do it from a very young age, but cheerleading to me brings back so many good memories. All the glitter, the bows, you know, the excitement of being on the competition floor. We used to train 2 hours Monday, Wednesday and Friday for a 2-minute routine that would happen in 6 months' time. But it's just all the tan, the glitter, the tight cheerleading outfits and throwing girls up in the air. It was so empowering. It's such a good memory of my fitness journey because it just brought so much joy, and just having girls all together, you know, in that one group it was just such a good journey within my fitness career. So I think during my cheerleading journey was the moment when, you know, when I was in a room with a load of females and we all wanted to do the same thing and be strong and fit, is kind of why I've wanted to bring that to other females, is to give them that kind of emotion and feeling that I felt, and I want all women to feel strong and empowered. Okay, this next one is kind of like the first fitness adventure that I put myself in. So it was a Tough Mudder. I did it with one of the guys that I worked with at the gym, and I think this is where my journey for training for other different things come into play. So not kind of like, you know, training to look a certain way. I wanted to train to complete something. So, you know, performance. And this was the first kind of race that I ever did in my fitness journey. I was around 22 here, and I've always had that competitive side in me because obviously I was brought up a swimmer. I then went into cheerleading, and I kind of wanted to do something where it was a little bit more individual and I could continue, you know, having that thrive for competing against other people. Okay, this is when I found out, well, I was around 20 weeks pregnant with my son, Hercules, who is now 4. I found pregnancy in the beginning quite tough because it was the first kind of time I had no control over how my body was changing, and I found that quite tough. But at the same time, I didn't really care how I looked when I was training. I just wanted to move to be healthy. And I kind of reduced my training a bit, and I was just focusing on, you know, the baby that I had inside me, and made sure that I was healthy and I was listening to my body a lot more. Yeah, pregnancy brings back some good memories. Okay, this one I found quite tough because I was postpartum here, and I was probably a week postpartum, and we went into lockdown. So I didn't really have the support that I thought I would have had, you know, speaking to midwives and stuff like that postpartum because of the lockdown happened. And I was really confused why my body looked the way it did. And it was this photo is the photo I look back and I think this is where my eating disorder journey started, because I didn't look how I used to look, but I couldn't speak to anyone about it either because I didn't know how my body should look. Should it be like this? And I think it was a really confusing time for me of what I should be doing, and I just didn't feel in a good place. here. Okay, this one is quite a sad photo for me because I lost a lot of weight. I think this was around 9 months postpartum. And the previous photo that I showed, obviously when I said, I think that's when my eating disorder journey started, because I looked at my body and I didn't recognize myself. And I did numerous hit after hit after hit every single day. I would train, for 45 minutes, twice a day. I just would pound my body through exercise and exercise. I wasn't eating enough. And I got down to a very, very low weight, and I was completely malnourished, yet I pretended I was okay, and I wasn't. And I think this is an important picture in my fitness journey that kind of highlighted why I do what I do now from what I was doing then. Okay, so this was the start of when I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I'm not very well. I don't look very well and I need to do something about it. And the tape on my knees is because I'd gone for a run. I did a half marathon with my partner, and in 2 days' time, my knees really packed up and I couldn't walk properly. And I think this was my body's way of telling me, you're not strong. You're so malnourished, you're weak, your joints are weak. I remember taking this photo. This was actually from a video. I screenshotted this photo and I didn't recognize myself. I just didn't recognize the person that I was. And this is why I've created this program and I continue to do this fitness, because I don't want other females to ever feel the way that I have felt, or I felt back then, where you're continuously pounding your body to, look a certain way, when it's not about that. It's about how you perform and what your body can do for you. It's not all about how you look, because it brought me nothing but misery. And I never want any other female to feel that way, especially postpartum. There's so much pressure for females, once you've had a baby, to say, oh, you won't snap back, or you'll never look that way again. But it's not about how you look. It's about being healthy for yourself and your family and what you can do as a person. And that is why, my program Perform, this is what I want females and women to feel like. Empowered, not worrying about what their body looks like. Okay, this photo, I feel I'm gonna cry the whole way through this. This photo is because the girl behind me is my friend called Kirsty, and I met her on social media. So we built this really strong friendship on social media, and she took me for who I was. She didn't care, how many followers I had, or, what I looked like, my history. And she said to me, do you want to do a fitness competition with me? And at the time, I was probably still struggling a bit with my eating disorder, but she completely pushed that aside. She didn't look for a female who was strong, or, for a female who looked a certain way. She just we had this really strong bond. And I feel like she gave me the confidence and the boost to, start sharing my journey and be who I wanted to be, and share that with other women. And that's why this photo, although we look a mess from the worm, it means a lot to me, because it was the first kind of competition that we did together. 2 females being in a group of guys and just doing the same thing and being strong and being able to do what they were doing. And I remember we was on this worm, me and Kirsty, and we were actually doing more reps than the guys. So yeah, this was like a really, really good moment. This one. So this is my son, Hercules. He is now 4. This was taken last year when we went to Spain. And the reason why I've added this photo in is because I have always trained in front of Hercules. He loves coming into my home gym. And when we was on holiday, he said to me, Mummy, I want to come to the gym with you. So he comes to the gym with me. I was doing press ups, burpees. He was copying everything I was doing. And I think this is kind of the age where he's really been intrigued in my training and what I do. And he just loves copying and getting involved. And he is one of the main reasons why I train, so that, you know, I stay healthy, stay active and stay strong for him. So when he gets older, I can do activities with him. I can, you know, if we want to go for a swim, you can go for a swim or a bike ride. And yeah, he is one of the reasons why I do train. So this photo here is me and my cousin doing a high rocks race, and we made podium, and it was the first time Hercules come and watch me in a fitness competition. So you can see he's like hiding behind the flags peeking up because he wanted to come on the podium with us. And it was just a highlight in my fitness journey because, you know, it was nice to see him and hear him in the crowd cheering me on, go mummy, go mummy. And it was just, yeah, it was just a lovely memory. You know, coming from being pregnant and then coming into postpartum, and, you know, I always kind of had Hercules around me training. He was either sitting in his chair when he was young, or he'd be crawling around the kitchen when I used to film like YouTube workout videos like ages ago, and he would always be in the background kind of crawling around or doing the burpees. So it was nice for him to, you know, see me in action and just watching me compete with my cousin and just being there. It was really, really nice. Okay, this is the last one. So this is a really, really important photo for me because in the background, I don't know if you can see, but here is my auntie and my uncle. I feel like I owe my auntie a lot of credit because, she's the reason why I feel like I am where I am today. To have that photo there of her in the background watching me at a fitness competition and just being there to support me is everything to me, because she has supported me through my whole journey. So when my eating disorder started, she was the main reason why I have transitioned out of my eating disorder. We was all at a family event doing whitewater rafting, and she said to me, "Are you okay?" And I kind of said, "Yeah, like I'm fine." And she said, "Yeah, but all you've eaten is a celery stick." And it was that moment in time that she kind of just pinpointed me and said to me, "You don't look well. You don't look well. You look different." And that day I went home and I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize who I was. And going back to, you know, the photos where I was severely underweight was at that moment. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I would be right now. I don't know if I would have gained weight. I don't know if I would have ended up in hospital, or, you know, if I'd lost more weight. So I owe her a lot for, you know, pinpointing and looking out for my health and myself. I think this photo as well is when I finally felt myself again and I felt strong. And I remember coming up to this competition because it got released and it was a 50 kg sandbag, and I thought, I can't lift that. And I was training, and when we got to the competition floor, my cousin was there, you know, bending down beside me, and she was like, you can do this. And I could hear my auntie behind me, and I had this kind of flashback of where my weight was a lot lower than that bag when I was severely underweight, and now I'm lifting it over my shoulder multiple times. This photo just sums up my journey of how much strength and power I have built, and confidence within myself as well. So I think with my fitness journey moving forward, I just want to kind of continue doing what I'm doing, increasing my strength, pushing my body, you know, to different boundaries or competitions to see where and how it can perform. I don't really care how I look anymore. You know, I don't really take photos and think, oh, I want to change that of me. I want to change this of me. I kind of go into the gym and I pick a weight up and I'm like, no, I want to do more than that. I want to lift heavier weight. I'd like to do a heavier power clean, or I'd like to, you know, run a certain distance. To me, movement now isn't about how I look, it's how I perform. And this is exactly why I've built this program.